Nature's Pickins.
This is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Nature's Pickins.
This is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Land spreading out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan, just give me that countryside.
Nature's Pickins.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Michelle Higbee at Nature's Pickins, located on 464 Connellsville Street in Uniontown. The phone number to store is 724-438-4211. We're not going to be taking any calls today. I have a very special guest in with me today, Erica Engel, and she is a yoga instructor, and we're going to be talking about yoga and Ayurveda and essential oils today. So we're kind of filled as far as our topic goes, so we're not going to be taking phone calls, but please don't change that dial. Stay with us. It's going to be a lot of good information. And I will connect with Erica here in just a second. Just to let you know about what's going on with Nature's Pickins. Of course, we are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturday 9 to 3. That's Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, Saturday 9 to 3. We do give a senior citizens discount every day of the week. So make sure that you ask for that when you come into the store. Let you know, as far as cell product goes, Solgar is on a line drive. Nordic Naturals has some specific things like the Ultimate Megas, the 120s, 180s. They are on sale. Solar Ray, like the Bone Complete, is on sale. Vitamin C is on sale. Natural Factors have different things on sale. So you want to stop up the store and check it out. We also have quite a few things in the food area on sale, like Bob's Red Meal. I don't know if you guys have seen the protein oats. They are on sale this month. Those are 10 grams of protein per serving. Spectrum Naturals has their organic palm oil shortening. If you're going to use shortening, that would be the way to go. It is on sale. Eternal has their alkaline water. Spectrum also has grapeseed oil and olive oil on sale, so you want to take advantage of those items. And then we got quite a few different new things into the store. One of the things is people that are vegetarian or vegan. Abbott's has some of their new frozen things like ground chorizo, ground beef, chopped chicken. Those things are on sale. Products are on sale. They also have a fajita chicken. They have a classic burger, an Italian herb burger, a garlic and herb chicken patty. Very good. Quite a few people, Erica, that have tried this so far and said it's one of the best vegan foods that they have tried. So
That's a good review.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a very good. So if you're a vegan or vegetarian, or even if you're not and you just want to watch what you're eating, that might be something you want to do. Some of those are also on sale. So take advantage of those. Check them out. We have them on the end caps. The Abbott's is a frozen product, but the new products are on the end cap, and the cell product are all on the end cap. So take advantage of those.
And I will say the protein oats, the Bob's Red Mill, my husband eats those every morning, and I enjoy those as well. It's nice to have a little more protein, in the morning.
Well, what's really nice about those is, like, one of our other customers, his mom makes homemade muffins all the time with really good things, flax meal and steel cut oats and all kind of different things.
Yeah.
So when he came in, I said, you might want to think about having mom use these oats because they're higher in protein. And so he did, and he said, man, they just made fantastic muffins.
Nice.
So you figure 10 grams of protein per serving, that's a good bit.
Yeah.
So that's really going to increase that protein content of those muffins, instead of just all carbohydrates.
Yep, exactly.
So anyways, Erica Engel. So this is who we have on today. She's going to be discussing, we're going to be discussing yoga and Ayurveda and essential oils and how you can incorporate those into your life for everyday different types of issues. Erica, I'm going to let you go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell the listeners how you got into yoga and what made you want to start teaching it.
Thank you for having me. I know I've been on once before. It's been a while, so I really appreciate being back. And I do want to start by, offering condolences. We're all so sad of the loss of Michael. I've learned so much from him, and just really appreciate the conversations that you guys have had. So I know the listening audience is feeling the same.
Thank you, and thank you for reminding me. Sometimes you just go off on your little tangent type thing that you have planned and you forget. And I don't want to forget about Michael because he was a blessed, welcoming person to me.
So positive all the time on the radio.
And, I'm not sure of the ins and outs of what happened with his passing, but he is surely going to be missed. And I hope that the people that have listened to him over the years have learned a lot off of him as much as I have learned and you have learned. Mm-hmm. So I do want to thank everybody for the thoughts and the prayers for the family.
Yeah.
And appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
So he will be missed. Like Gary.
Yeah.
He will be missed. These guys are my...
the community.
Yeah.
It's a community.
Mm-hmm. But they really stepped up to the plate for me because it's really hard to do a radio show by yourself.
Oh, I can't imagine.
Because so that's, conversing with somebody across from you or on the phone or whatever, that makes it so much easier. When you're trying to do it by yourself, it's a little harder to do. Mm-hmm. And you're not supposed to let dead air, be an issue. So these guys really stepped up to the plate for the radio show. And then we educated, our listeners so much, I believe, over the last... We've been doing the radio show 43 years now, I believe it is. So, they will be missed. But then again, we get wonderful people like you stepping up as well and helping us out here. So,
thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
So once again, tell everybody how you got into yoga.
Yeah.
And what made you want to teach it?
Yeah. I have been practicing for about 20 years. I started kind of getting into yoga and stretching and that. Stretching, first of all, when I was a backpacking guide. We did that, that was the first time I kind of heard of yoga, so to speak, in my late 20s. And our mentors, had us stretching and doing some what they called yoga. Before we went out on the trail for 4 weeks. And so I was like, oh, well, this feels good. And then my husband and I lived in Portland, Oregon for a while. And, there were stressful jobs, stressful stuff going on. And I thought, well, I want some movement, but I also want some stress relief. And so have always been a very active person. And so decided to try a yoga class. And then I was hooked from there. When we moved here about 11 or so years ago, I had been practicing for a while and just knew that there was more to it than just kind of making shapes with your body.
Yeah.
And so found the Himalayan Institute, which is based out of Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It's one of the only nonprofit yoga institutions and teaching centers, at least in the country. They have campuses in India, Cameroon, Buffalo, as well as here in Pennsylvania. Wow. The central campus is here in Pennsylvania, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And they used to have a branch campus in Pittsburgh. And so, about 8-9 years ago, I happened across Himalayan Institute and then took a teacher training from them, not expecting to teach. It was a year-long training program, just wanting to know more about why I was feeling so good, and there had to be more to it. And really fortunate to get involved with Himalayan Institute, still study with them today. I'm certified through them at the 200-hour and 300-hour levels. And so now I get to share and teach for about the past 8 years or so. Have taught various places around town. And
you actually taught at the Penn State.
I did.
Campus, Fayette campus
Yes,
as well, right?
I did teach for a few years at the Penn State Fayette campus. It was an elective class. It was called Yoga for a Lifetime. One of my favorite classes to teach all students from all different walks and experiences in life. Younger, more mature, a little bit of experience with yoga, but many of them none at all.
Wow.
And it was really, really cool to have 16 weeks with them.
Yeah.
To introduce yoga and all of the aspects of yoga as well. Again, not just the postures, but as we'll talk about, there are many aspects. If you never do a yoga posture in your life, you can still do yoga. There's meditation, there's relaxation techniques, there's lifestyle practices, which we'll talk about today with the essential oils for sure. And then, of course, the breath work, the breathing, that type of thing. So yoga is much more than physical movement. And that's why I love it so much, because it's just a lifetime of learning.
I think that's one of the situations that people don't understand with yoga is when they think of yoga, they think of all the bending and the twisting and the exercise.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it. A lot of times when people come into the store and they're having breathing issues, one of the first things that I'll tell them to do is they need to learn the breathing techniques of yoga. It would help them tremendously. So, talk about those aspects just a little bit if you can.
So there are certainly, most people enter yoga practice many people in the West enter through the postures because that's just been ubiquitous. It's kind of what we've seen. Western world is really into, fitness and that. And so that's kind of how yoga kind of got an inroad into the West. And now, we're learning, the Eastern science and the Western science are kind of meeting together to corroborate with each other that there are benefits, through the postures, but also, like you said, through the breathing techniques. We know how to breathe. Our body knows how to breathe. And yet life comes in with stress and situations and, our lifestyle choices and that, and things that are forced on us. And we kind of forget that. And so really yoga is kind of reminding us how to breathe effectively and efficiently.
Real quick, don't mean to interrupt you,
please.
but when you talk about the East and the West coming together, is yoga much different like in India and in Eastern, world than it is here? Is it taught different or practiced differently?
I have not been to India,
okay.
And so I will say that. And yet, my teachers at Himalaya Institute are of that descent. And so, yes, yoga is originated in India and South Asia. I appreciate that we're talking about kind of a little bit of the history, a brief snapshot. It originated there, and really with the text, the original text, and that we know of, and that yoga was really equated with sitting in meditation and learning, self-realization, if you want to get kind of woo-woo about it. Connecting with, yoga in Sanskrit is yuj, and it means to unite. So to kind of unite with your better self or higher self, or if you have a faith tradition, that type of thing. And there's so much more to it as it kind of grew and expanded out. You have the postures that came later, and that helped to get the body ready to sit in meditation and kind of contemplate those greater things in life. You have the breathing techniques to, enliven or calm the body so that, again, you could sit in meditation and, kind of find higher self in that. And so it's wonderful because there's been this expansion of what yoga means. And I think, at least from folks that I've talked to that are of Indian descent or have lived in that culture, yoga is just life. It's not like we're doing yoga. It's just like they're living. That's their lifestyle. They follow, their circadian rhythms, the Ayurvedic clock. They do their movement. They follow the seasons. They do their chanting or meditation or that. It's kind of like fish swimming in water. You don't separate it out. Whereas here we kind of say, I'm doing my yoga practice today. And so
So most of us here probably don't go to that extent with yoga. They do more of the going to say use the word exercise. The exercise
Yeah.
of yoga more so than the whole practice.
Yeah. Yes, we get a little piece
Okay.
of it, and yet there is a saying that no effort in yoga is wasted, and so even a little bit. I have many folks that come to me, probably to you at your store too. Well, I can't do all of this, and you just say take one or two things.
Yeah.
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 So if you have a minute, everybody's got a minute to focus on their breathing.
Right. I agree. Yep.
So that builds on itself over time, even that minute. And you'll find that if in that minute you're thinking clearer for the next 5 minutes, well, hey,
Yeah.
maybe next time I'll try a couple of minutes,
Right.
and then I have 10 minutes of clear thinking.
Yeah.
I'm being facetious, but serious that
Right.
no effort in yoga is wasted, whether it be breathing, relaxation, meditation, lifestyle, or, the postures that we're so familiar with from social media and classes and that.
You had sent me a couple different sites on the websites on Google to look at, and one of them was how to cool pitta and reduce body heat with Ayurveda. Mm-hmm. I am not, and I'm not ashamed of saying this, I'm not familiar really with pitta and, is it vata? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Vata, yep.
So can you talk a little bit about that and how, in reference with yoga and what, the
Yeah.
listeners would...
So, kind of a 30,000 foot view, and then listeners, you can go with whatever interests you and explore it more. Hopefully, in a class with me or
that
another
would be
yoga
nice.
teacher.
Well, real
Yeah.
quick as well, you said with a class with me, please tell the listeners where they can do that as well, because I want them to know that this is available and they should
It
take
is
advantage,
locally. Yeah.
of this.
Yeah, there are a lot of great teachers here in Fayette County, and so I encourage you to try out different classes, different teachers, different techniques and styles. I personally teach at Own Body Massage and Wellness Studio, which is on 90 West Main Street, and
Across from United Bank.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so many great teachers there, lots of services offered. If you'd like to try out any of our services, classes, or kind of see the studio, we have a self-care soiree coming up on Friday, actually, starting at 6 p.m. at the studio. So you can come in and kind of see what's what, and try some things out. And then we'll have several local vendors as well. So, but at Own Body is where I teach. I also, through Own Body, teach a chair yoga class once a month, hopefully twice a month coming up at St. Peter's Lutheran Church. So it's a zero entry facility, lots of great parking. And so it's nice for folks with mobility issues, or may have an illness or an injury, or just want kind of a recovery day
Now,
practice.
where's St. Peter's at?
St. Peter's is across from the Shop and Save in Uniontown.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yep, on Walnut Hill
Yeah.
Road. Yeah. So that's kind of an offsite from Own Body because of that accessibility piece.
Right.
Yep. And then various places I do private sessions as well, and then I'll teach workshops, in various places around town and through the county. So yeah,
Okay.
but Own Body is the main place. I do have a website. It's ericaengel.com, ERICAENGEL.com. And you can kind of see where I'm teaching, what I'm doing. I do tea meditations at Vito's Tea House, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So lots of different things I get to
So
do.
for the listeners out there, I know that a lot of you are older. Don't think that yoga doesn't pertain to you as well. Just like Erica was just saying, at St. Peter's, she does the chair yoga, which is good for people that are not as physical.
Don't want to get down on the floor.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is available for you as well. So take advantage of Friday. And once again,
Well, Friday is going to be the self-care soiree. That's an event that we have going on at Own Body. It starts at 6. It's a come and go thing. There'll be sample classes, sample services that Own Body offers. Various teachers and practitioners are going to be there. So it's a free event, with local vendors, obviously, for items for purchase and that. But come on out and see what it's all about. You can check out a
Great.
calendar as well.
Great.
But yeah,
Fantastic.
we got on a tangent again.
okay,
We have fun.
That's okay.
We have fun
That's
that
what
way.
it's all about.
I don't want to derail.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back to the pitta and vata.
Yeah.
And with summer being so hot,
Yeah.
these 90 days, degree
And the
days
humidity,
or more
yeah.
are just killer.
Yeah.
How does that affect us with like our pitta when it comes to those high temperatures?
Yeah. So if we pan out a little bit, yoga is the science of getting to know yourself better. Another way to say it is self-realization. So yoga, just getting to know yourself better on the physical level, emotional level, mental, and spiritual, if you wish. Ayurveda is kind of known as a sister science to yoga. And so Ayurveda is this art and science of healthy daily living, what we do on an everyday basis to maintain our health and longevity. And so it's a really nice marriage of the two. The Indian South Asian culture is really wonderful in that way, that they've had thousands of years to kind of marry these two sciences together. And Ayurveda actually is where many of our Western medical professions and areas come out of. Everything from oncology to pediatrics to surgery, all of these have some of their roots in Ayurveda. And so it is a science. And so I do want people to know that there are actually Ayurvedic doctors that go, to school for these things for many, many, many years. So, but Ayurveda has this idea of, again, what we do on a daily basis affects our health and affects our longevity. It's all common sense, right? It's all common sense. And so I'm not telling you anything new, just kind of bringing it to the fore. And so, both Ayurveda and yoga kind of look at what's going on in the outer world and also in our inner world as kind of mirrors and reflections of each other. So they kind of reflect back at each other. And so if we think of summertime is hot, it's sharp, there's a lot of activity, there's a lot of intensity. And these things are not good or bad, it's just what they are. And if they go out of balance, that's when there starts to be some problems. Deserts, flooding, lack of rain or too much rain, heat, too much heat, and et cetera. And so we can look at what's going on out there, according to Ayurveda, and then look at what's going on in here and try to find some balance. And so if we go too far in the heat, intensity, sharpness, doing too much without transition time, it can cause physical, mental, emotional issues in the body as well. And so in Ayurveda, we have this concept of like increases like. And so, for example, in the summertime right now, it's whatever degrees it is and 95% humidity. If I go out and then put spicy food on top of that in my body, or if I go out on top of that and work 16 hours in the summer sun, I'm going to have some issues. Like increases like. But if I do the opposite or consider adding some things that are of the opposite nature, like this morning I went swimming. Kind of that cooling, that soft versus, to counter the sharp, doing things that are cooling versus hot, overly heating, eating foods that are cooling, cucumbers, water, those things that are in season.
You're right.
Then I can kind of balance out that heat, which, to your point of using the term pitta, there are some terms in Ayurveda. There's no test, listeners. You don't have to remember this. You can look things up. Himalayan Institute is a great resource as well online. But there are kind of three constitutions. There's Pitta, Vata, and Kapha. And all of these, according to Ayurvedic science, kind of have qualities that make up everything that we see in the world and also our bodies. And so you can go down a rabbit hole with it. We won't do that. But with Pitta, it's associated with summer. And all of these qualities that I just mentioned, hot, sharp, light, meaning daylight intensity, kind of oily, kind of liquid and spreading, these are qualities of what we would call pitta. And when they go out of balance, either in nature or in our bodies, then we start to have some issues. So some issues when pitta is in balance in the body, for example, or in nature, we have joy. We have activities that we're doing outside. We're having a great time. We're motivated. We're doing all the things that we love. We're getting adequate rest, but we're enjoying life. our digestion is good, that type of thing. When we go out of balance, we have things, when we go out of balance in the pitta aspect, all right, think of all those summary qualities, we get overheated. We may get heat exhaustion. We may have some eyesight issues. Eyes are take in light, intensity, too much focus. We may have burning eyes, dry eyes, red eyes. Our digestion, acid reflux, ulcers. You see this in your work all the time. And so that's when we kind of know that the pitta kind of constitution or part of this whole thing is kind of out of balance. And so I don't know if that kind of helps start the conversation or kind of give some ideas.
Yeah, I think it does. In reading this, it talks about a lot of the different aspects of that, like you said, acid reflux, digestive disorders, anxiety,
joint inflammation,
all of these anger issues.
Yes. So you talk mental and emotional. Yep. You get angry easily. You're irritable. You get frustrated easily. You're hyper focused on one issue. You can't get off of it. You get overly heated. That all of those kind of. We have those descriptors in our lexicon, right? In our verbiage that we use. I'm overheated. I'm blew my top. That type of thing.
It's so funny because when you think about it too, when you're outside and it's like, oh, it's so hot out here, you can feel yourself automatically change.
Do you feel that? I mean, I feel that.
Oh, I absolutely do. I just want to get in someplace where it's cool.
Yeah.
Or like you said, eat watermelon or something just to cool you down because you can just feel the emotional, physical aspect of it change.
Yeah.
When I cut grass, I have these tallets like that I got at one of the sports stores that you wet it and throw it in the freezer,
Perfect.
to get them, and I put them like over my neck and stuff to keep me cool while I'm cutting the grass in the hot sun.
Exactly.
Because if not, you just can't, you can't stand it, you know.
So the environment's warm. We're already warm. We don't need to add on to that.
No.
And so how can we do some of the opposite things? Think of the qualities of softness, ease, less competitiveness, foods that are cooling, beverage that is cooling, activities, relationships that are, kind to ourselves, compassionate, all of those things. Yeah.
I would imagine hydration is an extreme part of yoga. And we had yoga classes down at Brownfield Community Center for a while. That's been a few years ago. But one of the instructors that taught down there taught hot yoga. And,
what did you think about that?
I always felt so drained afterwards. It was just, and her biggest thing was hydrate, hydrate. Afterwards. But I mean, you felt good afterwards. But wow, it was intense. I could only do like a part of it. I couldn't do the whole routine because it was pretty. Physical. It was,
yeah.
But what is the difference between regular yoga and say hot yoga? Why those different areas?
There are different styles of yoga. That makes sense, right? And to meet what people were interested in or what the benefits might be. I will say that yoga in general, one of the tenets is it is to be nourishing and not depleting. Okay. And so if we are doing something that, even if it's called yoga, but for us it is depleting, that may not be. Now you said you felt good afterwards, so right. I want to acknowledge that.
It was just intense.
Yeah. And so, and I will say, no matter what a teacher says, no matter what a style says, you you, meaning the general you, know yourself the best. You're the expert on your body. Yoga is to be nourishing and uplifting, building joy, confidence, strength, whatever those positive qualities are. It is not to be depleting, demeaning, or injurious, in any way. And so that's why there are different styles of yoga for different people. And so the more traditional styles of yoga that have a more Indian, South Asian bent to them would be under the term of Hatha Yoga. And so that's where you will get your classes that may be titled Vinyasa, which is kind of a flow, breath to movement style, or Yin, or which is more of a floor-based style, getting into the fascia, the connective tissue, a little more relaxing, if you will, kind of a more mental practice. Restorative yoga. There's flow. There's these more traditional styles of yoga, and then you have kind of the westernized, more fitness-based styles. So that would be that have kind of come out of these basic traditional principles, but kind of taken what they like and kind of expanded on it.
Okay.
And so that's where you would get your power yoga. That was developed for runners and athletes, on the East and West Coast. Different teachers were developing that. And then, it's become a little bit more widely known, again, for just to get athletes kind of in their body, but still moving. Yeah. Hot yoga, again, is kind of a trend. Mm-hmm. And for people that it works for, it's fantastic. I would say that traditionally in the Indian South Asian culture, I don't want to speak for everybody, and yet it is not necessarily a traditional style, because again, you're moving and you're building heat upon heat.
Yeah.
And so if you are kind of a pitta type person like I am, if you see me on the radio, I've got red hair, I've got light skin, I have all of those pitta qualities because these qualities are ubiquitous in nature as well as in us, in the foods we eat, routines, schedules, etc. So for me, hot yoga does not work. It just adds heat upon heat, which I can't handle. For other folks that I've talked to, love it. They just love it. Yeah. And so just to be aware of knowing, and this is what the show is all about too, and what you do in your work for decades is knowing your body and what works for you, and not being afraid to say, this style doesn't work for me. Right. Even if it's trendy, even if it's the thing that everybody's doing. If yoga is about getting to know yourself better and self-realization, being your best self, and it's to be nourishing, then that's an individual kind of thing.
Let me ask you a question when it comes to yoga and so forth. When you're looking at a lot of the clients that I deal with have arthritic, inflammatory problems, pain issues, is yoga a source that they can utilize to help them with their joints, with their cartilage issues, and so forth? I know that essential oil wise, we have a lot of people that use like frankincense and myrrh for helping to relax the muscles, helping with pain and inflammation. Even ginger, for example, we have people that have neuropathy, and they'll utilize frankincense and myrrh and add ginger essential oil to it and apply it to their legs and their feet and their hands and get fantastic results from those essential oils. So, essential oils are something that can be used topically or aromatherapy wise, breathing it. We even have necklaces at the store that a lot of people will use. Oh, yeah. Like with anxiety, for example, they'll put citrus or mandarin orange in it, so they have that aromatherapy smell, and it helps them with their anxiety and issues and so forth. But can you utilize yoga in those arthritic inflammatory states to help a person maybe help overcome some of these issues, maybe in combination with essential oils, maybe not? Have you experienced that with a lot of people in your teachings?
Short answer, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. I appreciate, to your point about kind of this multimodal approach, doing what works for you, taking, what works from, modern Western medicine, through your healthcare practitioner, taking what works from, the naturopathic outlet, taking what works from yoga and Ayurveda, and kind of cobbling together,
do the whole body experience.
The whole body experience. That's right.
That's one of my biggest things. Don't focus on tunnel vision with one thing. Open that area up, because a lot of people are like, oh no, I don't want to do allopathic medicine. Well, allopathic medicine wouldn't be there if there wasn't a use for it.
Exactly.
So I always say incorporate all. Do your own research, incorporate all of it. Whatever works for you is what you need to do. I appreciate you saying that.
And if we're talking about Pitta and summer, that hyper focus on one thing is that overdoing it in one area. So we can take summer, to open the aperture a bit and be open to, all kinds of different modalities that might work for us. And with yoga, arthritis, joint pain, I experience that as well, especially as I'm fortunate enough to be aging.
Yeah.
And so I have used my yoga practice. It's evolved and changed over time. What I did in my 20s is very, very different than what I'm doing now that I'm 51,
Okay.
So that's the great thing about yoga as well, is that it evolves with you, you evolve with it. And so what I would say as far as physical postures go in yoga, depending on, and again, I am not a medical doctor, I want to say that.
Right.
And that go with what your practitioner is advising you. But when a client comes to me and says, my doctor said to come do yoga, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because I think if you're experiencing arthritis and joint pain, hot yoga may not be for you.
It would almost cause probably more inflammatory issues. Right.
And you could certainly experiment with it, and see what happens, but it may not be the best for you. On the other hand, something like yin yoga, which you're remaining in stretches for 5 to 7 minutes at a time, again, that may or may not be right for your joint or arthritic condition. And so, but in other cases, it would be great, for that. And so as far as, if we're talking about inflammation, what I see, for me that works best with a yoga practice is kind of a flowing practice, a practice that uses some repetition of movement. I'm here, going through wrist motions and hand motions if you see me on Facebook, but just going through the range of motion in the joint. Motion is lotion, as Leanne, the founder of Own Body, has said. So if we get some movement in there, that can be really soothing and helpful. But again, not a jamming movement or like forcing into any certain postures, but just getting some.
The old saying, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, a gentle yoga practice, floor-based or chair-based, you can do stretches in your bed and move it. And the key with yoga is the breath is key. The yoga science are masters and experts at breathing and cueing the breath in different breathing practices. And so really working with the breath, with the movement, again, to get that flow going throughout the entire body, really, really helpful. And specifically, if you were to start anywhere, practicing diaphragmatic breath, which means getting the breath low and slow in the body, not forcing it, but just letting your body do what it knows how to do. And then doing some nice flowing, easy, gentle, movements throughout the entire body.
Now, do you use essential oils when you do your yoga? Like I have several people come in, they'll use eucalyptus, they'll use peppermint, I would imagine, to help with the breathing issue.
Right.
Do you use essential oils when you practice your yoga?
I have, yeah. Okay. I honestly used to use them, a lot more, and I got out of it for a little while, and I'm back into it. And so, especially if we think about summertime, eucalyptus, I think, is great for fall and winter. It's a little more, it has, at least in Ayurveda, has a little more warming quality to it. And so for breathing and that in the summertime, Peppermint is nice. Some folks, including me, find peppermint a little bit strong after a certain point, and so spearmint essential oil is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And so if you like a little softer kind of cooling mint, that would be one. And I'll have like a little cotton pad or cotton ball that I give to everybody, at the end of class, and they can, or the beginning of class, and they can kind of, breathe in and breathe out. And you just find that, you get a little bit deeper breath, and that's what we want to experience. So, especially in the summertime, the exhale, inhale is very invigorating. In the summertime, we also want to emphasize getting that exhale. So we kind of release the heat, release that, whatever is not needed, tension, intensity, to create more space in the body. So
for everyone that's watching Facebook right now, we have a little display of some different oils that we carry at the store, and also carrier oils, because Erica, carrier oils are very important, because you don't want to use these essential oils in their purest form directly on the skin or anything like that. You always want to use a carrier oil, so it doesn't cause irritation or things like that. Correct?
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate that, Nature's Pickins chooses quality essential oils. There are a lot of cheap essential oils out there, which, you don't quite know what's in them. And I'm not just saying this because I'm on your show, because I've shopped in your store, and I've also used these outside of your store. So, but it really does make a difference.
Yes.
And obviously you want to be careful of if you're using them topically, like if you're sensitive, and that, to be aware. But carrier oils, definitely. And in the summertime, again, look out at nature, what's growing right now, not here, but elsewhere.
Yeah.
Coconuts, right? Coconut oil is very cooling to the body, according to Ayurveda. I've experienced that myself. Maybe you have as well. Other cooling oils are avocado oil, very cooling. It's a little thicker, I think. But I think you have grapeseed oil here, which is also quite light.
Yeah.
Again, grapes grow in the summertime. So kind of, again, look at what nature is doing and kind of take in that for what might work for your own body.
So wintertime, compared to, coconut oil, grapeseed oil, avocado oil, kind of in the summer, if somebody was looking, what would they not want to use in the summertime, but maybe in the wintertime?
Especially if you're quite sensitive to that. And you can experiment with yourself. I've done this myself, like use coconut oil in the wintertime, and I do feel cooler.
Okay.
And I'm a naturally cold person in the wintertime. So more warming would be sesame oil. Which is really nice. And again, I found that myself, like very nice warming and it's not like it's going to heat you up,
Right.
But it's just this lovely, if you're sensitive to your body, aware of your body, which your listeners are, you'll notice a difference between a coconut oil and a sesame oil in the wintertime.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just let listeners know too, though, some of these oils are very good for different skin type problems as well. Like sunflower oil, for example, is very good for eczema and psoriasis. I don't know if you know that or not, but I have quite a few customers.
Which
at
is
the
a
store.
drying kind of inflamed heat kind of, and it's a cooling oil.
Yeah,
that's great.
It's fantastic. I've had a lot of people that use it for that reason. So when you're looking at the essential oils, there's so many things that you can use essential oils for, and I know that a lot of people don't understand how to use them or what to use or, what they're for. But you can use them topically, you can use them aromatherapy wise, and that means you're breathing these aromatherapy oils in, or maybe you're putting it in a diffuser. Like I have a lot of people, Erica, that deal with anxiety and panic attacks and things like that. And they like to use the mandarin orange, the citrus, the spearmint, different oils that are uplifting.
Yep.
So they put them in diffusers so that they smell them on a constant basis, and it helps them, with those situations that they're dealing with. So,
and
don't
I'm
be
in that camp too. I have experienced anxiety and panic attacks. Yoga has helped. And I will say the essential oils, that 2 a.m. wake up with a panic, that peppermint has been, along with other things, multimodal approach, but that peppermint has been one of the things that I'm like, okay, I'm all right. If
you think about it,
cools things off.
I think of yoga too as, I know that Tai Chi is not yoga, but a lot of people will do yoga and Tai Chi, because they're nice, slow, stretching movements that people that experience anxiety and stress and tension, they need that mobility to help to calm them and relax them. So any of you that are out there listening today, it is definitely something that you want to consider incorporating into your life, as well as the essential oils. Also, think about if you're dealing with anxiety and panic. There's different ones that you can use: Lang Lang, lemon balm.
That's a nice one.
Lavender, so those are all very calming. Lemon balm is fantastic. I don't know if you've ever used it personally.
I love it. I grow it in my garden. By the fistful.
If you just touch it, it just opens the brain up. It seems like it just lets the floodgates open.
It's a happy.
I love lemon balm, and a lot of people, I think, could benefit from lemon balm.
Sure.
Real quick, we got about a minute left, Erica, but I want you to tell the people again about Friday and Home Body Works, so that they know where to come to see you, as well as others.
Yes.
Own
Body Massage.
Yoga.
Own Body Massage and Wellness Studio, 90 West Main Street, right above the Titlow Tavern. We have a self-care soiree coming up on Friday. Starts at 6. It's a come and go event. Lots of great things to do and see. The phone number is 724-320-9386. I hope I got that right. And you can see me on ericaengel.com. You can see me at Own Body, of course, but I certainly hope to be able to share yoga with you and Ayurveda sometime soon. So be well.
Thank you very much for being with me today. I always love when you come on because we talk about so much.
I know, only scratch the surface.
There's so much. And
I have so many questions for you, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, all we do is scratch the surface because there's so much to talk about. And so, come up to the store, check out the essential oils, check out Erica on ericaengel.com.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks so much, everybody. Till next week.
McCormick, the Supreme Court limited nationwide injunctions but left open other avenues to challenge the president's executive order ending birthright citizenship. Now a New Jersey or New Hampshire judge has paused the president's order and will certify a class action lawsuit. CBS's Scott McFarland reports.
As soon as that Supreme Court ruling came down, a group of attorneys got together, filed a class action suit to stop this birthright citizenship attempt. And a judge in New Hampshire says this accords with the Supreme Court ruling, and he will halt it for a week, but the battle continues.
The Trump administration is moving to block more services for those in this country illegally. Alexander Tin has that.
The Trump administration has taken a new step to stop undocumented immigrants from benefiting from an array of federally funded grant programs like Head Start and health centers, reversing a Clinton-era policy that had exempted several programs from using immigration status to determine eligibility. It follows an executive order by President Trump signed earlier this year aimed at curbing incentives for illegal immigration.
In Texas, searchers are still scouring areas to find victims from the catastrophic floods. Jonathan Lamb of the Kerrville Police Department.
It is a methodical search which ensures that every area in an area to be searched is covered and searched and that no stone is left unturned.
Reporter Karen Wong.
We are on day 7, and while officials have not outright come out and declared this a recovery mission, the last known survivor was found on Friday, 7 days ago, on the 4th of July.
The death toll is now at 121. New Mexico's Governor Lujan Grisham gave an update today on the recovery